Hello and welcome to Take on Tech, a show that keeps you updated with everything you need to know about technology from within and outside our borders. A great show awaits you. Grace Kithaiga will also be coming up in not too long to give you such an interesting and informative interview. But before that, we have tech news, tech of the week, and innovators club. So you are in the right place. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1 or on our fan page at Take on Tech. My name is Stephanie Ayeta. The prevalence of SIM swap fraud has raised concerns among Kenyans, which brings us to ask you this question. What should be done to address this menace of SIM swap fraud? Talk to us. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1 or on our fan page at Take on Tech. We want to hear from you. In tech news, we give you more details into the SIM swap fraud, and internationally, Twitter will soon start to roll out the Circle feature. This and much more in our tech news roundup.
Identity theft can be categorized into various sections, one of them being SIM swap fraud. The case of Farah Bashir, a medical laboratory scientist who lost 2.6 million Kenyan shillings after his SIM card was reportedly swapped, is one of the few fraud cases that have been brought to light. His 2.6 million Kenyan shillings was withdrawn by hackers in several transactions from his 4 different Absa bank accounts between February 7th and February 9th. Fraudsters go to the extent of registering an existing number on a new SIM card in order to intercept notifications, one-time passwords, online banking profile, and transactions, as well as changing the account security settings. To avoid this disastrous activity, it is key to ensure your SIM card has an active SIM lock, use strong passwords, and keep personal information off social media. Whatever method an attacker has used to procure your number, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the SIM swap attack gives the attacker access to all your calls and messages. And if you're using SMS as a 2FA security or your account recovery method, they can enter your number, get the one-time password, and take control of your accounts. The *100*100 hash code is a recent feature by one of Kenya's telcos, Safaricom, where you can blacklist your line from being replaced at M-Pesa agents, leaving the option of replacement only to Safaricom shops. Twitter started testing Circle earlier in the month of May with a limited group, and now it looks like it's starting to roll out to more users. The feature works a lot like Instagram's close friends, as it allows users to send out tweets to a specific group of people rather than all of Twitter. Right now, it's unclear how many people currently have access to Circle. Users can see the feature pop up when they start composing a tweet, but some users still report not having access quite yet. Twitter spokesperson Joseph Nanes told The Verge that the feature is still in testing. The easiest way to check if you're part of the test is to start composing a tweet. If you see a new drop-down menu at the top that reads everyone, Twitter won't notify users if you add or remove them. One can add up to 150 people in a circle, and Twitter will not notify users when you add or remove them from the circle. There's also an option of adding people who do not follow you to a circle. People that are part of the circle will see a note displayed on the tweet informing them that only select people can see that tweet. The users in your circle will not be able to retweet your thoughts, but they can still download or take a screenshot of your tweets.
How do you feel about walking around with a headphone that has an air vacuum filter? Well, to some it sounds more like an upgrade to the mask. Let's listen into the Dyson headphones that are designed to fight or tackle the problem of air pollution. Here it goes.
Dyson, a multinational technology company, has taken its first step into wearable technology with an eye-catching pair of over-ear headphones that come with an air-purifying mouth visor. Dyson has diversified in recent years with products such as fans and hairdryer. The headphones, dubbed Dyson Zone, are designed to tackle the growing issue of air pollution. The noise-cancelling headphones go on sale in the autumn. They come with a motor, fan, and air filters in each ear cap. Air is sucked through the filters, capturing allergens and pollutants such as nitrogen and sulfur dioxide and brake dust. And this purified air is then channeled to the nose and mouth via the visor, which is magnetically attached to the bottom of the headphones. It is 97% effective at getting clean air to the lungs, the company says. There are 4 purification modes depending on whether the wearer is walking down a street or sitting down. The headphone uses sensors to track breathing and exertion and then toggle between modes. They also come with an app that lets users specify their location and determine when the filter needs replacing. The product has 4 hours battery life in low filtration mode or 1.5 hours in high filtration, Chief Engineer Jake Dyson said, adding that, unlike face masks, it delivers a plume of fresh air without touching your face, using high-performance filters and 2 miniaturized air pumps. The non-contact aspect was a must for the designers to avoid discomfort and irritation. The Verge called the finished product bizarre, stressing it was not an early April Fool's joke. Gadget publication Staff.tv called it the wildest gadget we've ever tried, and tech website CNET said it looked something you'd see in a dystopian sci-fi movie.
That's about it from Tech of the Week. Let's now join Grace Githaiga for some Tech Talk.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that introduction. Welcome to the interview section of Take on Tech, a weekly program that brings you technological concepts and debates and brings an expert to comment or break down the issues. In today's program, we're going to look into online gender-based violence. What is it all about? My name is Grace Githaiga. Now, to help us understand this topic, we have with us in the studio Mwara Gishanga. Mwara is a tech and policy associate at Kiktanet. Karibu sana, Mwara.
Thank you so much, Grace.
Okay, straight into the program. Online gender-based violence.
Online gender-based violence is basically gender-based violence, however projected on a tech-enabled device or a platform. Gender-based violence is nothing new. And because we live in a patriarchal society, Grace, you would know, women have often been seen, and there's a connotation, there's a rhetoric that always goes, women are meant to be seen and not to be heard. And rhetoric such as silence is consent. So such preconceived notions that have already been embedded in our systems have created a society where women are not encouraged to participate in anything. More so especially when they contribute and use their voices online, they are faced with gender-based violence. And this gender-based violence, which is online gender-based violence now that it's happening on a platform such as Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, or WhatsApp, or any other platform actually that you're using, oftentimes transpires as harassment for these women. So you find that a woman would, especially like a journalist or a woman who's in the political space, will use her voice and the platform that she has been offered to speak on these issues, and will be met with harassment or abuse that is completely out of context and has nothing to do with the issues. And we don't see that for men. It's always a double standard, because I think, as I mentioned before, because of these patriarchal systems and culture and traditions and beliefs that I've seen women being placed in homes or as mothers or caregivers, are not seen in spaces like online, speaking on political issues. You're told things like a woman's place is in the kitchen. Where is your husband? For the cases where women who are online or in political spaces or have trailblazing voices are asked, or where's your husband? Where are your children? And then you find the opposite of that, or how many husbands have you had? She's had an affair. Such incidences that we have seen even in the past with women participating in political spaces.
Okay, now you talk about the need to address technology, gender-based technology violence. Now, in what ways, or how can it be prevented? Because you're saying we need to prevent it, we need to address it. What are some of those approaches that we can use to address this?
That's a very good question, Grace. I hope we do eventually are in a place where this is obliterated and we don't have concern for gender-based violence, because at the root of it, we know that it's very much ingrained in our culture and beliefs. So it will take almost a mental shift for everyone in this society for it to end. However, there are ways we can try to create a safe space for women online. At an individual capacity, a lot of digital security and hygiene. Passwords, very important and key. From the minute you have your phone, can anyone access it? You have to put a password, be it in form of alphanumeric or like a pattern. But you have to have that first gateway when someone goes into your device, a password-enabled device. And then passwords all across the platforms that you're using as a woman, especially, that you have to have strong passwords. I hear if you use your mother tongue as your password is a very awesome way to be able to protect yourself from being hacked, because you see a lot of women face gender-based violence from impersonation. Oftentimes we have cases where it's a scorned lover who, for some reason, women, we share a lot. So you've shared with your partner your password information, and so they have access to your platform. And you get into a scuffle. Now you're not on speaking terms. They want to cause pain and inflict pain on you. What do? They impersonate you. So they probably go to your platform, they disclose personal information about you, they share some intimate images without your consent, and that already causes so much grave concern on you. Psychological impacts. You have stress, anxiety, depression. It goes down to for you to just function in society, because on platforms like on Twitter, for example, you have your workmates there. Your work is involved on your platforms. They have seen you in this way and shape or form. It affects your work. Some women have gone through this and have lost jobs. So you see there's such a grave and drastic and impactful effect of gender-based violence. So it's of much concern.
Yes. Very interesting, Moira. When we come back, you will tell us whether women have also contributed to that. Take on Tech takes a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with this conversation on gender-based technology, gender-based technology violence, right?
Against women.
Against women. Yes. Please continue to follow us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1 across Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are looking into online gender-based violence, and in the studio with us is Moira Gishanga. Now, Moira, we know the months of November and December is dedicated to something that's referred to as 16 days of activism on gender-based violence. Tell us more about it, and what are the technology components to this campaign?
Yes, so the 16 Days of Activism is an international campaign that happens every year. It's an annual one. So it starts on the 25th of November and runs up to the 10th of December, which is the Human Rights Day. And within this 16 Days of Activism, it's normally creating a campaign against gender-based violence against women and girls. Tech has been a huge component that has been added to the 16 days of activism, because we have seen that a majority of people now, their lives are online. Your lives offline are the same as the ones online. We're doing everything remotely, especially after COVID. We have seen everything has shifted online. Our education has shifted online. Our healthcare has shifted online. Our work has shifted online. Now, because of that, we have a whole world online, meaning that all these cultural biases, all these cultural systems that are already ingrained will be reflected online. Meaning that gender-based violence, like we have spoken about it earlier on, will translate online. So that's why it's very important for coalitions such as the one that KickTernet is a part of, called the Women at Web, which is a regional coalition that components countries from within East Africa, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya, to work with the hashtag called Safe Spaces to rally up support against gender-based violence. Yes. Okay,
now, Maura, we are coming to the close of the program. Speak to audiences, especially on the issue of, sharing a lot of information, because like you rightly pointed out, the nudes that we have seen shared online are for women. We haven't seen women sharing men's nudes, and some are actually given voluntarily. So a message to the audiences on staying safe online.
Yes. One important thing that I mentioned earlier on is that unfortunately, the safety of your presence online solely relies on yourself. Until we are able to change systems and policies, until we are able to change systems within accountability for social media platforms, at this point, it unfortunately boils down to yourself. Like I mentioned, make sure you have passwords, and strong passwords at that. If you are going to share intimate images, make sure you encrypt them. There are platforms such as Snapchat that exist where you can send an image and it disappears after a couple of hours. That could be an opportunity for you. If you feel like you need to share that image and you want to, then use that platform. If you share them on platforms such as WhatsApp, or you share them directly to the person, there's chances where things can happen. You don't trust everyone. That image can be used against your will. Make sure to safeguard your information. It's very important, especially for women who we are very vulnerable. So sharing physical locations of the places that you're in, like on Instagram where you post I'm a Java Hurlingham, avoid, because you never know who is in the vicinity or can triangulate your location and cause you to be insecure. Other than that, just try to be safe. Make sure you update your iOS or your Android or all your devices. Make sure you update them, update your softwares so that they incorporate all the new updates to make sure that you're safe. Learn much about digital security and safety and hygiene, because it's very important for your own personal enjoyment of the internet.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Maura. But are you saying, for example, now we should not share a picture and say, having an interview at KBC. You know, are you saying that?
I'm not saying that.
All right, thank you so much, Moira, for gracing the interview section of Take on Tech. Moira was talking to us about online gender-based violence. And until next week, my name is Grace Gidaiga. Again, continue this conversation on our social media handles. That's at KBC Channel 1.
This is the segment where we bring you innovators. Apart from that, we challenge you to try something new. Get outside your box and be a little innovative. We have a DIY hack just for you, which you can do at home with minimal resources. Let's check it out. We now draw the curtains on today's show, but we still welcome your views on today's question, where we're asking you what needs to be done to curb the menace of the increasing SIM swap fraud. Talk to us. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1 or on our fan page at Take on Tech. My personal handle is Stephanie_Ayeta. That is on Instagram, and Stephanie Ayeta across all other social media platforms. Let's meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, let's keep it tech. Adios.